Hey, what is up, everybody? So many of us now know someone who's come down with coronavirus symptoms and has had to treat it at home and recover. I want to thank everybody who's written to me about my husband and my daughter. They're both back to health, thankfully. All the emails and calls I received about them, about what we did to treat him and my daughter at home, really inspired me to talk with others about what they've been doing at home to treat their COVID-19 symptoms. I'm Risa Morimoto, your host, and you're watching Modern Aging, where we chat about innovative and holistic ways to optimize our health and well-being as we age. You click on that little red button below that says subscribe on it with the little bell next to it. You'll be sure to be notified whenever a new episode is uploaded. You can also sign up onto our email list and get the latest news of our upcoming programs on our website at thisismodernaging.com. If you watch the news all day long, you would think that literally no one is recovering from this illness. The numbers keep increasing and it's alarming. But we have to remember that there are also thousands of people who are getting sick but also recovering at home. The videos that I'm making are not medical advice, but ways to give you some hope and ideas on how you can treat you and your family members should they show any COVID-19 symptoms. Everyone is different, so there is no one treatment plan. What works for you will not necessarily work for somebody else. But the big thing you do want to remember is that if someone does show symptoms, you want to self-isolate. I've put some helpful resources down in the description section below. Some of those links are affiliate links, so should you purchase through them, we do receive a small commission. This comes at absolutely no cost to you, but it does also help us continue to make these videos. So thank you, and stay healthy and stay safe. Thanks so much, Elaine, for talking with me today. I'm sorry it's under these circumstances, but I feel like it's really valuable for people to hear how people have been treating themselves at home, and I know you've been doing that for the last several weeks. So I wanted to talk to you today about what you went through, what your symptoms were, and how you treated at home, if that's okay with you.
Okay, do you want to know my symptoms?
So, well, when did you get sick? How long ago?
I got sick on the night of the 16th of March, and I got up that morning and I was chilled in the night, and I couldn't figure out why I was chilled because my house temperature is the same. So I got up that morning and I had a headache, a dizzy headache, and I was chilled. And I thought, wow, my shoulders hurt and my back hurts and my legs hurt. They kind of hurt at the joints. And I thought, what's going on here? And it took me a couple days to even figure out what was going on. I started getting a cough.
Did you think it was COVID right away or no?
Not really. My daughter got it that same night, and we'd been around her husband. And so I thought it was really odd that we both had the same sickness on the same night. And her husband, I think had it, and her daughter. But I didn't think it was COVID because it was just kind of new then. I was thinking, do I have the flu? Honestly, what's going on here? And
but what was different?
It just seemed like so many symptoms. And immediately I didn't have an appetite. I didn't want to eat. Food looked horrible to me. Food didn't taste right. My stomach was upset. And I thought, how can I have all these different symptoms? Because there's so many symptoms here. And what is it? And my daughter and I started talking because she had the same exact symptoms. And she said, do we think it's the COVID? Do we think it's the virus that's out now? And I thought, oh, surely not. But yeah, my temperature on the first day was only around 99 to begin with, and then that got up to 101. And I thought, well, it's got to be something going on.
Yeah. Did you lose your taste and smell, your sense of taste and smell?
Things tasted funny. My daughter brought food out for me to eat. Just couldn't eat it. I just didn't have any interest. I could smell things, but food, I had no desire for food. And that went for, I still don't have as great a desire for food, but that went for a couple weeks. I just wasn't interested in food.
Right. At what point did you call your doctor?
I called my doctor probably about 5 days in. My fever got up to 103 at one point in time. It'd stay around 101, it'd go to 99. And of course, I had a hard time finding the thermometer because they're all sold out. But it would get up to 103, and I was just tired. And I thought I'll call her. And when I called her, of course they're only doing telehealth, and so I got her on video, and she said, "You absolutely have it." Now I spent the whole week, and my daughter who was sick too. Her and I both called all these places to try to get tested. No tests. We couldn't. Nobody would get us in. We called hospitals. We called doctors' offices. We called private places. Everybody said just stay home and manage your symptoms. So that's what we did.
Right. Yeah, I've been talking to some doctors and nurses, and they all said unless you have like respiratory issues and it looks very severe, you're not going to get a test. I'm not sure, that may have changed, but but during that time for sure, it was like impossible.
Yeah. So
your doctor even told you that?
My doctor said you are probably the poster child. So she was very concerned because my fever kept going up and down, and I was just pretty sick. And so I talked to her. She called me back Monday, and she actually called me every day. I mean, she called me one day, twice in the day, and that second Wednesday I had it, because she was very concerned about me, and she was hoping that I wasn't going to get pneumonia or something, because, I mean, I was a little short of breath, but I had such a terrible cough. And so I took it upon myself to call a triage hospital. And I mean, they went through this whole triage thing I talked to 3 different people. It was a long process, and they said, go to urgent care. There's one that does x-rays. So I did go to an urgent care after about 8 days. And they did a chest x-ray, and they said, okay, your lungs are clear. And I was going, yes. Well, my doctor had just called me that morning and said, get to the hospital. And I said, whoa, I just did an x-ray. And she said, oh, thank goodness. But she gave me Z-Pak. So I did take I didn't take Z-Pak. I took azithromycin 500 for 3 days because she wanted to kick it. And she said I would have bad diarrhea, which I did. But she was very concerned because I just wasn't getting better. And so she called me every day, and she said, you absolutely have this. You do have it. I mean, you have all the symptoms.
So you self-isolated, of course. Mm-hmm. You didn't see anybody, so you live alone.
I do. I live alone. And I just isolated. My daughter would come and bring me food and put it on the front step. And I wasn't that interested in food, but she'd at least try. But yeah, I just stayed here by myself.
So what did you do? Did you rest, or did you, were you up and about? Were you drinking hot teas? Was there anything that you were doing that you felt that kind of helped you think, in your recovery?
I was trying to drink a lot because everybody said drink. And I'm not a big drinking person, but I tried to drink a lot, and I tried to eat even though I wasn't in the mood, but I rested. I was tired. I read a lot. I had a lot of books. I got a puzzle out, and that didn't seem to interest me. I watched a lot of Netflix and a lot of Amazon Prime, which how much can you watch of that? And I went to bed early, but after about a little over a week, I started having night sweats. So I wasn't even sleeping good. I would wake up in the night and I just have sweat running down. I would just be wet all over. And that was miserable. That lasted for probably about 6 days.
Wow.
It didn't come on immediately, but it came on after about a week. And I thought, oh, what is this? A new symptom. So.
Wow. So you were doing, and then you said this is separate from the hot flashes that you started to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So after my doctor kind of released me after a couple weeks, and then I still had 99 fever. I was just getting so depressed. I was just thinking, is this ever going to go? Because my fever was still 99, and she said, if you don't have fever for 72 hours, then you're good to go. Well, I couldn't get to the 72 hours, but
so it was going up and down.
Oh yeah, up and down. And I'd get up in the morning and I just almost breath. I would think, no, I don't want I didn't even want to take my temperature because I just thought, am I going to have it? And then I'd get depressed if I did have it, because at night it would go up. I mean, in the morning it'd be 99, and then at night it'd go back up to 101. And I just thought, am I ever going to get over this? But since my doctor released me and I haven't talked to her, it seems like I've had a lot of weakness now, and I'm 4 weeks out. I'm a couple days over 4 weeks out from actually getting it, and I just have weakness. I'm shaky. My legs are weak. My hands are weak. I can do things with my hands, but they just feel like they're shaky. And I've had I called the doctor back, and I've talked to her, and I will talk to her again in a few days. But she said that I must be having some hypoglycemic problems because I almost fainted twice when I got up too fast. And she said, you had a bad case of it, and I'm just assuming. I had a physical with her in February, and she said, your blood sugar was okay, your blood pressure. Now my blood pressure's all over the place. It can be up and it can be down in a matter of a little bit. So she just wanted me to eat more, which I'm eating close. I'm eating a lot more and closer meals. And so we'll talk again in a couple of days, but she says it's because I had a bad case of it. And I'm 63, I guess. I don't know. Not that matters with this at all, but yeah.
Right. But I guess the older you are, the more at risk you are to get more severe symptoms. So in terms of what you ate or what you drank, or was there anything that you did specifically? So you took acetaminophen for the fever, right? Mm-hmm. Was there any other medications that you were taking, or was there any kind of natural stuff that you were taking, any supplements or anything like that? Or did you stop doing that sort of thing? Vitamin
C. I was trying to do those things, but that's all I really had. I mean, nobody ever gave me everybody just said, stay at home. If you have fever, take the acetaminophen, and that's about all. I didn't do anything else for it.
So emotionally, how were you feeling? So you didn't at all ever feel like this could be fatal. You just felt like I needed to, like a bad flu, like I need to ride this out.
Sure, I felt like it could be fatal because I'm 63, and I was thinking, how in the world did I get this? And especially when my doctors tell me to go to the hospital, then I panicked because I thought, do I really have to go to the hospital? I've already had a chest x-ray, and she goes, no. And then I started thinking, should I have went to the hospital? But I don't want to go to the hospital. But that one Friday night, I remember when she said, I think you're better, and my fever went back up, I was depressed. I was anxious, and I thought, I might not get over this. Maybe I'll be on a respirator after this many days. I don't know, but I was pretty anxious, and I went to bed early that night, and I just laid there. Of course, I couldn't sleep because I had all the night sweats, but I just laid there, and I believe in God, and I prayed, and I just prayed and said, God, this is under your control, and I can't do anything about it. I have this, and I just said, you've got to take care of me, and that's it. That's all I had, because when you're here by yourself and you try to watch TV, but then the only thing on TV is the coronavirus stuff. I was anxious watching the deaths every day, just death and death. And so I don't turn my TV on as much. If I do, it's movies or Netflix or whatever, because I still can't hear about it because I'm not completely over it. And I still can't just hear the horrible stories.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it right now. And
no, that's good. I'm glad that you are limiting, that you recognize it, and now you're limiting the amount of news intake, because it does cause a lot of anxiety in people, and then your head starts to spin out of control. And so what have you been doing for your well-being now, would you say?
Well, I am taking walks. I have 2 dogs, and they don't like just being in the house with me every day. So,
and you're in a pretty rural community.
I'm in a mountainous community, and so it takes a lot. I think, yesterday I took my dogs out for a walk, and I walked like 25 minutes. And it's funny because I can do walks like this, and I did walk almost 2 miles last week one time, in one day when it was nice, and I can do the walks and they're okay, but it's just getting started. It's just I'm lethargic, and I'm tired, and so I just have to talk myself into doing it. I feel good after I do it, and my cough, I'll cough if it's cool outside. I'll still cough a little bit, but I was coughing so bad in those first 2 weeks that friends would call me, and I couldn't even talk on the phone because I just would start coughing so bad, and I would just cough and cough to the point that I said, I can't talk anymore. So I wouldn't even answer their calls. So I was pretty isolated when you can't talk on the phone and you can't see people.
What did you do for your own kind of mental health then to make sure that you wouldn't, I mean, it's true because there's a lot of people who live alone.
And I understand it. You do get anxious. I understand because you're just there by yourself, and I'm not used to being home all the time. and I like to sew, so I thought I need to help people. So I started making masks for hospitals here where I live. And so I just came downstairs, and when I felt like it, even when I didn't feel like it, I would make masks. And that occupied some of my time because I felt like I was doing something to help somebody else. So that kind of boosted my spirits a little bit. I'm not a sit around person, and it just seemed like it lasted forever and ever and ever. But I would tell people, you know what? You're going to make it. You're going to get through this. What is it? 98% of people do very well, and they're at home, and you're just going to make it. You're going to get through it. And even though you have all these weird symptoms, and I seem to have all of them. Not everybody has all of them, but I kind of had everything. And if you do have the night sweats, you know what? They'll last maybe 5 or 6 days, but then they'll be over with. And your fever it might go down for a couple of days, and if it comes back up, okay, this is part of the course. You just stay on that course, and you just wake up and say, tomorrow's going to be different. And that's what I did. I just thought, I'm going to make it through this. I just keep plugging on. And doctors don't know what to tell you. They just say manage at home. And I understand because they're not that familiar with this disease. But I'm absolutely waiting for the antibody test, which I can see if I really had it or not. And my doctor says, you had it. So hang in there. I don't know what else to say.
Right. No, but you look great, and I know that you still feel lingering symptoms, but you're functioning, and you're able to get up in the morning, and now you're able to
And I'm very thankful. I am thankful. When I got it, and when I think about it, I thought I have this bad thing that they talk about on TV all the time. I still sometimes think most of my friends know nobody who has it. And so at times I feel like an alien because they're always, I'm in some of these groups that I'm on Zoom and all this stuff, and they're like, oh no, we don't know anybody who has it. And I thought, are you kidding me? Am I just a weird one that was selected here to get it? But you're okay,
Well, luckily, if you did have it, which it seems very much like you did, you do have the antibodies, so then you actually can resume life, hopefully,
and I'd like to
once you get the test.
People are giving plasma where I live, and they're giving plasma, and it seems to help people. I would love to do that. I'm just waiting for the antibody test to come.
Right.
So, yeah, guys, there is hope.
That's our family also.
There's hope. There really is hope. And you hear all the bad stories, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen to you. It doesn't.